Welcome back to the NBA Saga. Today we dive into one of the most fascinating modern debates. LeBron James versus Kawhi Leonard. Two forwards, two champions, two very different paths to greatness. And yet their careers keep intersecting in ways that define an era. When you talk about LeBron versus Kawhi, you are really talking about two visions of basketball power. LeBron is the all-seeing, all-controlling engine of an offense. He is the system. He controls tempo, creates shots, manipulates defenses, and leads teams deep into June year after year. Kawhi is the silent assassin. He speaks with his eyes, his hands, and his footwork. He dominates the game in fewer words, fewer dribbles, and often fewer games. But when he is right, he can tilt a playoff series almost by force of efficiency and defense. Let's start with the question everyone loves to argue. Who has the better defensive impact? If we talk strictly about peak on-ball defense, Kawhi Leonard has a very strong claim. At his best in San Antonio and Toronto, Kawhi was arguably the most terrifying perimeter stopper in the world. He could guard point guards, wings, and even battle bigger forwards in the post. He turned live dribbles into steals with those massive hands. He closed driving lanes before they even appeared. He did all of that without gambling out of the scheme. He stayed sound, stayed in front, slid his feet, and made stars feel small. Kawhi's defensive reputation is not just height. You can see it in the way opposing coaches treated him. They ran offense away from him. They tried to force switches to get him off their star. You can see it in the way elite scorers talked after the game. They described him as a wall, as a robot, as someone who never seemed to get tired of contesting. LeBron's defense, on the other hand, looks different. In Cleveland, and especially in Miami, his defensive peak was about range and intelligence. He could pick up a point guard at the top of the key. He could switch onto a power forward and hold his ground. He was the free safety, reading plays before they developed, rotating from the weak side and erasing layups with chase down blocks. His defensive impact came from being everywhere. He was less of a one-on-one handcuff defender over time and more of a roaming problem solver. So who has the better defensive impact? If you isolate the peak, possession by possession, Kawhi might be the more suffocating perimeter defender. He is the guy you stick on the other team's best scorer and say, handle it. But over a career, LeBron's size, versatility, and ability to direct the defense from the back line gave him a different kind of value. He anchored schemes, called out coverages, and made his teammates' jobs easier. At their very best, Kawhi is the scarier one-on-one weapon. LeBron is the more versatile defensive brain and the more impactful defensive presence over a longer time. Now let's talk about advanced analytics and the way numbers see these two. Most of the classic box score-based metrics tend to love LeBron James. Things like player efficiency rating, box plus minus, win shares, and similar models usually rank him near the very top of any season he plays at full throttle. That makes sense when you think about his game. He scores at a high volume and high efficiency. He creates a ton of assists. He rebounds well for his position. He plays big minutes. Those stats are designed to reward players who fill the box score and do it efficiently. And that is LeBron's entire profile. When you move to impact metrics that try to estimate how much a player moves the scoreboard when he is on the floor, LeBron still looks incredible. Whether it is plus-minus base models, play-by-play analysis, or catch-all impact ratings, LeBron generally grades as one of the most valuable players in the league almost every healthy year of his prime and beyond. His fingerprints on every possession, every offensive decision flows through him. That kind of central role is exactly what those models detect. Kawhi's advanced analytics are also elite, but they tell a slightly different story. He may not match LeBron in volume of counting stats because he often plays fewer minutes and fewer games, but per possession, per minute, per play, he looks like a monster. His efficiency as a scorer is usually extremely high. His turnover rate is often low given his usage. Defensively, his on-off numbers and impact metrics often show that when he is on the floor, his team simply does not give up good shots. He eats possessions on both ends without wasting them. So if you ask the numbers who is greater overall, the models usually point to LeBron. because of his incredible longevity, massive minutes, and all-around production. But if you zoom in on specific seasons, especially Kawhi's best years in San Antonio and Toronto, the analytics show stretches where his impact per possession rivals anyone. You might sum it up like this: LeBron is the long, unbroken mountain range of greatness. Kawhi is the sharp peak that appears suddenly from the clouds and cuts into the sky. From numbers we move to something less measurable: leadership style. LeBron's leadership is loud, visible, and strategic. He talks constantly. He directs traffic on offense and defense. He will point where a teammate should be standing. He will call out where the help should come from. On the bench, he is drawing up plays, talking to coaches, and mentoring young players. He is comfortable being the face of the franchise and the voice of the locker room. This kind of leadership has strengths. Teammates know what he expects. They know who is in charge in clutch time. He can build confidence in his shooters by finding them over and over again. He has rescued many careers by putting role players in perfect spots for success. But it also comes with pressure. Playing next to LeBron means living inside a media spotlight. It means your mistakes are amplified. It means you must accept that the offense starts with him and spreads outward. Kawhi leads in a different way. He rarely talks much in front of cameras. He does not give long motivational speeches during timeouts. His style is quiet, almost understated. His leadership is built on preparation and consistency. He shows up, plays his game, and expects you to match his level. He communicates through defense, through a steady mid-range jumper, through calm and big moments. For some teammates, this is the ideal scenario. There is less external drama. There are fewer headlines every time something happens. You just hoop. For others, it can feel like a vacuum. When things go wrong, they may look for a vocal leader who simply is not wired that way. Kawhi's leadership is more subtle, more internal. It does not demand the spotlight, but it demands that everyone be a professional. Now we come to the stage that really defines legacies: the playoffs, the big stage, the games that live forever. LeBron James has built one of the most extensive playoff resumes in the history of the sport. Deep run after deep run, finals after finals. He has faced every defensive scheme known to man, walling off the paint, loading up on his drives, switching everything. For over a decade, he has been the single biggest problem that opposing coaches had to solve in the postseason. His playoff numbers are absurd: high scoring averages, high assist numbers, heavy minutes. He has comeback stories, legendary game 7 seconds, elimination game explosions. He has iconic moments, from chase down blocks to tough step back threes to perfect reads that become game-winning passes. The playoffs are where his basketball IQ and physical gifts merge into something almost inevitable. Kawhi Leonard's playoff resume may be shorter, but it hits very hard in key moments. He has 2 Finals MVPs with 2 different franchises. He was the young two-way terror in San Antonio, disrupting LeBron in the 2014 Finals and knocking down big shots for that beautifully balanced Spurs offense. Then he became the central superstar in Toronto, delivering one of the most memorable postseason runs of the modern era. Think about that 2019 playoff run, the shot over Philadelphia that bounced on the rim 4 times, the way he tore through defenses in the East, the way he outplayed the injury-struck Warriors and delivered a title to a nation that had never tasted an NBA championship. For that stretch, he looked like the best player in the world. Efficient, patient, unbothered by pressure. He did it with defense, mid-range mastery, and a complete control of pace. So whose playoff level is higher? LeBron's is defined by sheer volume and sustained excellence. He has more deep runs, more series wins, more finals appearances, and more opportunities to show who he is when the stakes climb. Kawhi's playoff level is defined by spikes of almost mythic dominance when he is fully healthy. His peak series look like something out of a video game, but injuries and load management have taken away many chances to add to that story. Here is where the debate becomes emotional, because this is not just about numbers, rings, or awards. It is about what these 2 players made us feel. LeBron James, for many fans, is the constant, the player they grew up with, watched grow from a high school phenom to a global icon. Year after year, they turned on the TV in May and June, and saw him still there, still carrying teams, still reading defenses as if the game was playing in slow motion for him. He inspired a generation of big wings who wanted to dribble, pass, and see the whole floor. He taught us what basketball could look like when one mind understood everything happening at once. Kawhi Leonard, for many others, is the reminder of how unfair the game can feel when a defensive genius also becomes an offensive machine. He is the chill silence before the storm. No chest beating, no long speeches, just a slow, methodical dismantling of whoever stands in front of him. He taught us that you do not have to talk to be loud. Your game can do the shouting for you. Think about the emotions you feel watching each of them. With LeBron, there is a sense of narrative. You feel like you are watching a story, a career arc, a legacy built one decision at a time. Every finals trip feels like a new chapter. Every title, every loss, every comeback shapes the way we talk about greatness. You feel the weight of history when he steps onto the floor. With Kawhi, the emotion is different. It is almost suspense. You never quite know when he is going to erupt. He can be quiet, then suddenly the box score shows 5 points on 19 shots, and you barely noticed it happening in real time. You feel the tension when he dribbles into that mid-range pull-up. You feel the dread on behalf of opposing fans when he locks into a stance on defense. It is less about narrative and more about impact in the moment. In the end, how do we compare LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard? If you value longevity, all-around production, and the ability to raise a team's floor and ceiling over a decade, you probably lean LeBron. He has the stronger advanced metrics over a longer sample. He has the more complete playoff resume. He has proven that he can be the primary engine of multiple championship teams, adapting his game as he ages. If you value peak two-way dominance and the idea of a wing who can be your best defender and your most efficient scorer at the same time, Kawhi's best seasons are incredibly compelling. He has shown he can be the difference between a good team and a champion. He has finals performances that rival anyone of his generation. He has a defensive aura that few perimeter players in history can match. But maybe the most honest answer is this. LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard represent two different kinds of greatness that both matter in modern basketball. LeBron shows us the power of sustained, all-encompassing control. Kawhi shows us the power of max efficiency, high leverage dominance. You do not have to hate one to praise the other. You can appreciate the way LeBron bends a whole franchise around his vision. You can appreciate the way Kawhi walks into a hostile arena and calmly steals a game with 10 made mid-range jumpers and a few brutal steals. As fans, we are lucky. We got to see these two giants share the floor. We got to watch them meet in the playoffs. We got to argue about who is better, who is more clutch, whose impact is deeper. And somewhere in that argument is the real beauty of the game, because debates like LeBron versus Kawhi are not just about ranking players. They're about deciding what we value in basketball and maybe even what we value in leadership and greatness. So who is your pick? Do you ride with the king who has carried teams for what feels like forever? Or do you side with the silent assassin who, at his best, looks like the perfect two-way forward of the modern era? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us who you would take in a Game 7. Tell us which playoff run from LeBron or Kawhi lives rent-free in your mind. Thank you for watching the NBA Saga. If you enjoyed this deep dive into LeBron James versus Kawhi Leonard, please remember to like the video, share it with your fellow basketball fans, leave a comment with your take on this rivalry, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss another story from the world of the NBA. We'll see you in the next episode.